Hello everyone, this is East Mountain Films here for the announcement video for track.easterbunny.cc version 4. Over the past few months, we've gotten a lot of feedback on how to make the Easter Bunny tracker, track.easterbunny.cc, better, and this year using that feedback to build a more well-rounded tracker for 2020. Last year was a pretty big year for us. We officially launched and made a name for ourselves, but a lot of you said that the tracker was too basic, and I have to agree with that. It was a very basic tracker, didn't have a lot going on, so we used the feedback that you gave us, along with some of our own ideas, and decided to build on the foundation that we laid last year for the tracker. So here's all the changes that are coming this year. This is a more technical explanation of everything. However, if you want a more condensed version of this video, you can check out the news post release notes on the track.easterbunny.cc news page, which we'll have linked in the description down below. So without further ado, let's get started. The first major change in track.easterbunny.cc version 4 is the material design. And I think for the rest of this video, I'm going to refer to track.easterbunny.cc as just TEPCC as the abbreviation. So anyhow, we have a new material design. This is what it looks like. It's using material bootstrap. Last year, the tracker was based on Bootstrap 4, and we're now using material bootstrap, which is based on Bootstrap 4. So we basically substituted in different frameworks and made some modifications to styling and everything like that. So it's a more slick design. It looks more modern and less dated like the old design. The second biggest feature this year is that we now have proper light and dark mode. So last year, the countdown was in light mode, but the pre-tracking and tracker was in dark mode. This year, we have a proper light and dark mode. You can change between the two manually, or you can let the tracker automatically figure out if your device is in light or dark mode. This works on newer devices, iOS 13 and higher, macOS 10.14 or higher, Windows 10 1903 or higher, and Android 10 or higher, and you need to have a modern browser. Chrome, Safari, Firefox, they all should work with the automatic dark mode, though Firefox we have seen a few issues with. Additionally, if you have your dark and light modes synced to when the sun rises and sets, if you're using iOS or macOS, preferably with Safari, but I think Chrome also works, the tracker will automatically pick up when your device automatically goes in and out of dark mode, so the tracker will change with it, which is pretty cool. The next feature is that we have a settings pane. This is what it looks like. Over the course of this video, I'm going to go over all the different things in the settings window. There are a good amount of settings this year. Next year I'll add some more, but this year is the start to the settings. The thing you should know is that you have multiple browsers on one device. These settings are specific to a browser on that device. At this time, there are no plans to implement any sort of cloud saving, so this is what it's going to be. We're using the local storage on your browser. So if you do go into your browser settings and clear site data, then the preferences will be deleted for the tracker. The third biggest feature, which is a really cool feature that we built in this year, is an estimated arrival time for the Easter Bunny. So the estimated arrival time is in the bottom part of the next stop box. Here's a screenshot. And the way it works is that we use your IP as a geolocation estimate, and then we will estimate when the Easter Bunny will arrive in your location to about 30 minutes to an hour. When the Easter Bunny has arrived at your location, the arrival estimate will no longer be visible in the next stop box. A few notes with this feature, however. Number one, if you're using a VPN server, we'll calculate the estimated arrival time at the VPN server. You can get around this by loading in the tracker without your VPN turned on and then turning on your VPN again. We never re-estimate what your location is while the tracker is running, so you can do that. Also, if you're traveling, like if you're on a long road trip, you might want to refresh the tracker every hour or two just so that the estimated arrival time is more accurate to your current location. Or if maybe you flew on a plane and you landed, you probably want to refresh the page to get an accurate estimate. So that's just a few caveats. Lastly, if you're using a smaller phone, like an iPhone SE for instance, the arrival time text can block the Easter Bunny icon, so you can turn that off in settings. Additionally, if you're streaming the tracker, we also recommend you turn this off in the settings window. It's under tracker settings, just so you don't reveal your location during a live stream. Another pretty major feature coming to the tracker this year is horizontal map shift on mobile devices. Last year, if you tried to use the tracker in horizontal landscape mode on your phone, the Easter Bunny icon will be blocked and you just see the boxes on top. This year, we have code that will automatically shift down the map when you're in landscape mode and shift it back up when you go back into portrait mode. Here's a video demo. That's what it looks like. Just a few notes here. Number one is that there are some tablets that should be getting horizontal shift because the boxes will block the Easter Bunny in landscape mode just barely, but we don't have that code implemented. We hope to do that in 2021. This is the first run of the feature. Since this is the first year that we're implementing this feature, it may not work on all devices, and if it doesn't work on your device when you think it should, please tweet at us at bunny_tracking and just give us information about your device, and we can go from there and seeing if next year we can add horizontal shifting. But if it does work, that's awesome, and we hope that this will make the tracker experience better on phones. Additionally, on taller phones, if you have like a Galaxy Note, the Galaxy S9 or higher, or actually S8 or higher, sorry. When you do go into landscape mode, you can see all three boxes, including last stop, next stop, and baskets delivered, which is super cool. The next cool feature is that this year map modes are changeable. So by default, the tracker runs in street mode now compared to hybrid mode last year. However, you can now go into settings under map settings and change the map mode of the tracker between street, satellite, and hybrid mode. If you want to get the classic TEB-CC experience, you can put it in hybrid mode. Additionally, the street mode will sync with light and dark modes. So when your device is in light mode, the map will be light, but when the tracker or your device is in dark mode, then the map will also be of a dark theme. So that's pretty cool. Another feature coming to the tracker this year is that the baskets, indicating where the Easter Bunny has stopped, are now clickable. So we took inspiration from NORAD and how you can click where Santa stops and it'll pop up a Wikipedia page. We took some of that inspiration and decided to natively integrate it into the tracker. So what you'll be able to see is the arrival time, weather, population, elevation, and usually the first and sometimes second paragraphs taken from Wikipedia. We also have a source link to the Wikipedia page, so if you want to go explore more about the city that Easter Bunny has stopped in, you can go to there. And it's really cool having this native feature. A quick note with the weather. This is the weather on arrival. We couldn't fit the whole text or weather on arrival, so just keep note of that. It will not update or refresh. It's just static weather on arrival. Anyhow, so this is great, especially once tracking's over and you want to explore the map, which will keep the tracker up. More about that in a few moments. You can explore all the places that Easter Bunny has went, and you can also go into the Wikipedia pages. So if you're into those long Wikipedia dives, this is a perfect feature for you. Some updates with the pre-tracking experience with the tracker. So the first thing is that the pre-tracking is now integrated into the main tracker. So the only redirect that will happen during tracking is from countdown to pre-tracking. We did this to help streamline the code base during development, and next year we are also planning on integrating the countdown into the tracker as well, so that there are no redirects. Additionally, there's going to be more pre-tracking updates. There will be a maximum gap of about 5 minutes now, and there will be about 30 to 50% more updates during pre-tracking compared to last year. Stop detection has been improved this year. We're now picking up about 30% more stops that the Easter Bunny is making, and we're noticing it especially in the United States, where last year there were very long gaps between when the tracker was picking up stops, about 6 to 7 minutes. I remember in the Midwest, it was terribly boring, but this year we fixed it, and now the tracker is showing a lot more stops, especially in the US and also in other places around the world. There is now a persistent uncenter recenter Easter Bunny button in the bottom left of the tracker page. Last year, you could click on the Easter Bunny to uncenter and recenter the map. However, almost no one knew this feature because it was extremely hard to actually figure out that you could do that. So now that feature has been removed, and now you can just click a button to uncenter and recenter the Easter Bunny. This button only pops up during tracking. It's not visible during pre-tracking or when tracking is over, and also not on the countdown page as well. A lot of you requested this feature last year, and we're happy to provide it. There is now a bunny bouncing effect in the tracker. You can set it in map settings and the Easter Bunny will bounce during tracking, so not during pre-tracking and not when tracking is over, just during tracking. Just a few quick notes about this feature. This will cause increased CPU usage, which will in turn cause lower battery life on mobile devices. And also they'll get warmer as well. So just take note of this, but it is here if you do want to enable it. For everyone streaming the tracker online, in the reset settings section of the tracker, there's a streamer optimized settings. This is a set of curated settings that we think are optimal for streaming the tracker online. This turns off the Easter Bunny arrival time, sets the appearance to light all the time so that your device potentially going in and out of dark mode doesn't interfere with the tracker, sets the map to street mode, turns off the bunny bouncing effect, and we think that this overall gives the best experience possible when streaming the tracker online. The external pages, what we're internally calling the info pages, including FAQ, news, acknowledgements, privacy policy, all those fun pages, they've been improved with the new material design, and they also have been improved with dark mode as well. This dark mode is synced with what you have set with the tracker, so if the tracker is set to automatic mode, then the pages will also be in automatic mode. You can also change the appearance settings in these pages using an icon in the top right corner of the page. This setting will sync back to the tracker as well, so when you go back to the tracker, it'll be in whatever mode you set on these pages, so it's a fully integrated experience. Additionally, this year, these pages are not popping out in a new tab, they're popping in the same window. This is a minor change compared to last year. Another quick change with these pages. Last year, these pages were under .html, so the FAQ page, for instance, was under track.easterbunny.cc /FAQ.html. This year, it's under /FAQ/. However, if you do go to /FAQ.html, you'll get redirected. This is in place for all the pages, including the countdown, so there's no issues with that. It'll redirect you as you should. The site will. We did a quick site slogan update this year. We're now track the Easter Bunny in real time with our Easter Bunny tracker as he delivers baskets and eggs to homes around the world. A quick update about tracker requirements. This year we are no longer supporting Internet Explorer 9. Likewise, older browsers are not really working well with the tracker. During quality assurance, iOS 9 was exhibiting a ton of issues with the tracker, so please do take note of that. Additionally, older Chrome and Firefox browsers also were not working properly. The main issue is that the new buttons, which we've switched to material icons, they are not getting rendered properly. We've tried some fixes and unfortunately none of them worked. So just take note of this, and next year we'll probably be upping the requirements for the tracker, but we're also planning to implement a basic mode as well. So more info about that next year, but just letting you know, if you were using IE9 by some chance on the tracker last year, it won't work, so just take note of that. This year, we've updated the stream attribution requirement. It's now no longer going to be enforced. Last year, we had an attribution requirement where you had to put the link to the tracker in the description of any live stream streaming the tracker. We did this because the tracker was brand new and basically no one knew about us except people who knew from the Discord and from community happenings. However, this year this requirement has been dropped. However, we still highly recommend that you do put the link of the tracker in the description of your live stream because we are, as of this run, now going to be 2 years old and we're still pretty new. However, it's no longer required and we will not be policing streams this year like we did last year. There's a bunch of other smaller changes to the tracker, so I'll list them off quickly here. On mobile devices, the tracker is zoomed out to zoom level 5. We did this as we think it gives more room and more perspective of the map on mobile devices compared to zoom level 6 on desktop devices. If you're not a fan of this change on mobile, you can always zoom in using the zoom key. You can press the zoom up key once, and while the Easter Bunny is centered, the zoom doesn't change, so you can have whatever zoom level you like. However, if you do uncenter, then recenter the map on the Easter Bunny, it'll go back to 5 on mobile, zoom level 5, and zoom level 6 on desktop. So if you do want to go back to zoom level 6 on mobile, you will need to press the zoom in key once more. We're looking at a feature maybe to add customization for the default zoom level in 2021. The add to home screen has been slightly modified. So on Chrome and Firefox on mobile, you can add the tracker to home screen, and also on Safari iOS as well, as like a little app. The name for this app this year has been shortened down to Bunny Tracker from last year. So if you do have the older icon from last year, you can remove that and then re-add it to the home screen, which will download the new manifest, and you'll get the shorter name as well. The incompatible browser detection has been improved, and so has the movement of the Easter Bunny on the map, so it should be a little less glitchy. We are aware of a known issue, though, where the map will start to jitter a lot after 10, 12, 14 hours of the tracker being up continuously. This doesn't affect normal usage. However, if you're trying to record a time lapse, this will result in, as time goes on, the bunny icon will start to jitter a lot more than in earlier hours during a time lapse. So make sure you refresh the tracker page every 8 to 12 hours. I think should work good for recording time lapses. The baskets delivered counter has been reworked some. Last year there was an issue where the basket delivered count would get too high as an Easter Bunny arrived to stop, then would fall back down to correct itself, then keep going back up. This year we fixed that issue. That should no longer happen, and that's kind of it for this little update. The overall structure of the tracker UI has been reworked, but not by much. The question mark icon that was in the bottom right of the tracker, that's kind of moved to the bottom left area. So in the bottom left, you'll find the settings icon. You'll find the info icon, which contains links to the FAQ page and all those fun links, and also now a little tutorial on how to use the tracker as well. It's really cool. And then, of course, during tracking, you'll see the third button for the uncenter and recenter Easter Bunny icon. Additionally, the zoom icons have moved from the left now to the right of the tracker. Automatic updates on how the Easter Bunny is doing are now available through a new Twitter at bunny_updates. We made a different Twitter as we didn't want to spam your Twitter feed with all these status updates coming from this new bot that we have, so we made a separate Twitter for it. We will be tweeting out updates on our main Twitter every 20 to 30 minutes, general updates on how the Easter Bunny is doing. However, if you want more specific updates on Twitter, the bunny_updates account is where you should follow. So go follow that if you do want all those updates. But just note, it's a lot of updates coming at you in a very short period of time. There's also been a number of minor feature additions and bug fixes from last year, which we couldn't mention here in the change list and in this video because there are a lot of them. However, just note that the tracker should be less buggy than last year. And now for a few notes about the new version of the tracker. So the first note is that for anyone who used the countdown as part of your stream last year, we did see that pretty creatively used is the countdown built into the countdown page. The position of it hasn't moved this year, so if you're using some sort of positioning in OBS and whatever, you can keep that as is. The position has not changed from last year. The tracker is heavier than last year. The total assets are about 2 megabytes now, so you will need a pretty decent connection to load up the tracker. Additionally, on some more lower end or older devices, the tracker may not run as well. It will still run though. It should still be a good experience, but just note that maybe showing the settings window or the basket information, the city information window, the animations may not be as smooth, maybe a little slower to get it up. So just take note of that. The tracker is a bit heavier this year with all the new features that we did add. There will be an update out shortly after the tracker launch, version 4.4.1, which will include a small change to make the return to tracker link on the FAQ and the privacy pages, those info pages that we previously talked about, go to the proper page depending on the state of the tracker. So before April 11th, 2 a.m., it'll go back to the countdown page, and then after April 11th, 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, it'll go to the tracker instead. So a small little change and probably some other minor bug fixes that we might find during testing, as we are continuing to test the tracker before launch on April 11th. With the tracker update at 6 p.m. Eastern on the 22nd, if you are still seeing version 3.8.2 when you visit the tracker, this is most likely due to your browser caching the older version of the tracker. So you can fix that by clearing out your browser cache, and you should be able to now see version 4.4.0. Otherwise, you can wait about 4 to 5 hours for the cache for your browser to clear out, and then you should be able to see the new version of the tracker. Additionally, before tracking begins, you can change settings to the tracker in the countdown page. All of them will be changeable. However, you won't be able to really see some of the changes. Say map mode, you won't be able to see how different map modes look like because you're still on the countdown page, but they will be applied when the tracker begins running for pre-tracking. So just a quick note. And that's all the changes that we have for you this year. We've worked really hard to bring all these changes to the tracker, and we hope you do enjoy all these changes, and hopefully all these new features and updates will bring a more enjoyable tracking experience. Pre-tracking, which is when the Easter Bunny will start making preparations for liftoff, will begin on April 11th, 2020 at 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The Easter Bunny will lift off, and tracking will begin on April 11th, 2020 at 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And lastly, tracking will end on April 12th, 2020 at 6 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time when the Easter Bunny returns back to Easter Island. We hope to see you on the tracker, and we hope you use track.easterbunny.cc this year. More details about my 2020 Easter Bunny Tracker live stream will be up in another video, should be later this week. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy these features. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. You can also tweet at us at bunny_updates. Also go follow that as well. And if you want to, go follow the bunny_updates for all the bunny updates, which will start on April 11th at 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. All the updates will be posted on that Twitter account. Anyhow, thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.